Well, the Sudanese government has been accused of using chlorine gas against the opponent, that is the RSF, in the continued civil warfare in Sudan. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the effects of using chlorine gas against the opponent, both in low dosage and high dosage. As well as in this video, I'm going to tell you how the accusation of the Sudanese government using chlorine gas against the RSF has completely changed the warfare in Sudan and where the UAE comes in all of this. Well, this is Bonafide. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and hit that notification button so that when I release something new on the Sudanese crisis, you get notified as soon as possible. Well, after investigations have been carried out, the United States has come up with findings that the Sudanese army has been using chlorine gas as a bomb against the RSF. A chlorine bomb is a type of chemical weapon that uses chlorine gas as the primary agent. It is typically an improvised explosive device, IED, or munition designated to disperse chlorine gas upon detonation. And the effects of chlorine gas on people is devastating. The reason as to why chlorine gas is banned by the Chemical Weapons Convention is because it is very difficult to control a chlorine gas bomb, meaning that if a bomb is detonated anywhere, the people who will be affected can be outside the radius that is intended by the one who fired the shot. Chlorine gas is toxic and highly irritating to human respiratory system. In low doses, chlorine gas causes irritation of the eyes, nose and throat, coughing and difficulty breathing. And in high doses, chlorine gas can cause lung damage, fluid in the lungs, and even death from suffocation. The investigations that were conducted by the United States pointed to the fact that the Sudanese army used chlorine gas as a bomb in 2 occasions against the RSF. And that now has led the US to sanction the Sudanese government. The sanctions include restrictions on US export and government credit lines set to take off around June 6th following congressional notification. That is as per the department spokesperson Tammy Bruce in a statement. Well, this has not been taken kindly by the Sudanese government, which has come out to discredit that information by the United States, saying that sanctions are only on paper and they do not have any effect on the Sudanese people. They've also come out to say that this is a mere distraction from what is happening in Congress. And what is happening in Congress is that the UAE has been facing condemnation of alleged support to the RSF. Remember, in Sudan right now, we have a civil war between the Sudanese army led by Al-Burhan and the RSF that is led by Mohamed Dagalo or Hemedti. These 2 factions have been fighting since 2023 and there have been devastating consequences on the Sudanese civilians because of this war. Tens of thousands of Sudanese people have lost their lives because of this war, as well as 13 million people have been displaced because of the ongoing war in Sudan. It is also important to note that the Sudanese government has termed this as a distraction because there is an ongoing conversation in Congress that the US should stop supporting UAE militarily because the Sudanese government has the discussion that UAE is involved in actively supporting the RSF to fight the Sudanese government. Chlorine gas has been used in Syria and Iraq severally against the civilians and the different factions fighting in Syria and Iraq, as well as chlorine gas was majorly used in World War I before it was banned. And this is coming at a time that Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, aka Hemedti, the leader of the RSF, went out in public and said that he is going to change the war in Sudan. And he elaborated that he is going to start forming a new government of Sudan, meaning that he's not going now to focus solely on fighting the Sudanese army, that he's now also going to focus on politics and forming a new government for the Sudanese people. We know that right now, the Sudanese army is acting as the Sudanese government and the RSF is now the rebel against the government. But now Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo Hemedti says that he's now going to also form a parallel government of Sudan and is going to start working for the Sudanese people. Well, I will continue to keep you informed of the latest of what is happening in Sudan regarding this civil war. Keep it bonafide.